What are the rules of joining two surahs together? If a reciter wants to read basmala between two surahs, for example, I'm ending one surah and I'm starting another surah. So how many ways can he do this? There are 3 ways. So 3 ways are permissible, and there's 1 way that is not permissible. Okay, so when you want to join Bismillah Rahman, you are ending a surah, you are starting another surah, and you want to say Bismillah Rahman Rahim between the 2 surahs. Then there are 3 possible ways of doing that, and there's 1 prohibited way of doing so. So what is the permissible way? The first permissible way is what? Reading all the 3 together. That is, reading A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir, reading the last verse, then reading Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, then reading the first verse of the next surah. And let me show you an example of that in the surah, in the example I've opened here. So the first possibility of joining the last verse of Surah Al-Ikhlas to Surah Al-Falaq is joining the 3 together. For example, وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ الرَّحْمَنِ الرَّحِيمِ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. You know, you're supposed to say kufuwan ahad, but because there's tanween here, don't be. Okay? Don't Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Kul A'udhu Birabbil Falaq. That's the first possibility. Joining the last verse of the previous surah to Bismillah to the first verse of the what? Of the new surah. Okay? And then what is the second possibility? The second possibility is what? Joining Bismillah and the first verse of the surah. So it means you are going to end the surah you're reciting. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. Then you now read Bismillah and the next surah together. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul a'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq. That's the second feasibility. So what is the third feasibility? The third feasibility is what? Reading everything separately. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Qul a'udhu bi Rabbil Falaq. So those are the 3 permissible ways. The first of them is joining all 3 together. The last verse of the surah, Bismillah, and the beginning of the next surah. You can do that first. That's the first permissible way. Second permissible way is what? Ending the surah, then joining Bismillah and the first verse of the next surah. Then the third permissible way is what? Reading everything separately. Then what is the fourth way that is not permissible? The way that is not permissible is what? Joining the last verse of the previous surah with basmala and stopping. Okay? Means I'm going to join the last verse and Bismillah and stop. Why is that impermissible? It's because the person listening to me might assume that Bismillah is what? Is the last verse of that surah. So it's not permissible for you to what? Read. For example, let me give you the example. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ الرَّحْمَنِ الرَّحِيمِ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. What I've just done now is not permissible. You cannot and you should never join the last verse of a surah with Bismillah and stop. The worst case scenario, if you want to join the last verse with Bismillah, you must read the beginning of the next surah, as we have discussed earlier. So this way is impermissible, so that the person listening would not assume that Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim is the last verse of that surah. So that would be about the rule for joining two surahs together.